I did have an uncle that was a drug addict. He was the black sheep of the family. I would always ask about him, but nobody would talk about him. I had some friends that they already had brothers already been in prison, in and out of jail. They're already using drugs. So one time we were smoking some marijuana, and we were at my friend's house, and we noticed one of the brothers coming out of the house, looking around, and then putting something in some grass. So we went over there, and after he left, we went over there and we dug it up, and it was heroin. It was balloons of heroin. We knew what it was, but we didn't know how to use it. So we took it to another friend of ours and asked him, hey, can you do this for us? So I must have been about 14, 15. And yeah, he fixed everything up for us and showed us how to do it. And I got sick, but after the initial barfing out my guts, sweating and everything, this feeling came over me that, I mean, it's a feeling I can't describe. I mean, I felt like I was on top of the world. I kept on, every time we can get it. I mean, we were too young for anybody to sell it to us. Nobody wanted to sell it to us, but every now and then when we would get money together, we would go to our friend that kind of trusted us, and he would go out and cop for us. I remember one time I was in juvenile hall. I was arrested. I must have been about 15 or 16, and I thought I was getting sick. I didn't know what was wrong with me. My back was hurting. I was throwing up. I was just sick. I felt like I had the flu. And I think back now, I was withdrawing from heroin. I never knew what it was, and I wouldn't wish that feeling upon my worst enemy, the withdrawals. But once you're released, you promise everybody, this is the last time, I'll never do it again. But as soon as those gates open, I mean, your blinders go on and you're just going in one direction. I mean, you're just trying to catch that high. I think it was in 1992, I discharged parole. I was no supervision. I started running amok again. I started doing things, I mean, just in broad daylight. A drug addict can smell new territory, people that are naive. You're gonna find the drugs. They're like you're a magnet to them. You're drawn to it. I seen how slow it was over there, and I started up over there. But in about 2 weeks, everybody knew who I was. Everybody was looking for me. I remember when my son was born, little Victor. I think I was 17. I was 17 years old. I was strung out already. I remember when they brought him home from the hospital, my brother-in-law was there. I was supposed to bring him home, but I got so tore up that I ended up passing out. My mother picked them up. They were banging on the door. I was so tore. I was just out of it. I was celebrating, having my own celebration. Did my mother yell at me? Yes, she did. Did little Victor's mother yell at me? Yes, she did. But again, it just went in one ear and went out the other. I just wasn't. I was too caught up in drugs. Drugs were just. Addiction is it's horrible. Not only you hurt yourself, but you hurt the people that love you. They feel it just as much as you do. I would still try to be there for them, but after a while, promises. I promise. And those promises never came true. All this time I'll promise. I'm going to take you over here. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to go buy you an ice cream. Then when I would get arrested again, yes, I did feel ashamed that I lied to them. Then again, you're incarcerated, so you're only thinking of one thing, and when you're incarcerated, you're thinking about, I got to take care of myself.